Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining Archangel Alts. And we're about ready to get started here. Should work correctly. All of our numbers are running there. And here we go. So, Archangel Alts, I know it's a little bit later, early depending on your focus. It's almost 3 a.m. 4/6/2019, March the 6th. Eastern Standard Time, almost 3 a.m. 2019. And wanted to take the time a bit, really been having trouble keeping up with all of the coin and news stuff. Has been so much going on. But currently in the market, $163 million, 24-hour volume on Bitcoin. Very low from its $600 million that it hit, which was very high. It was a record high. But it is coming down from that, and yet it is maintaining somewhere near the 5,000 range, probably going to settle into the 4,900s unless there's an early morning blast, which has been happening fairly often. So I just want to take the time to get back into some of our other altcoin in the news type stuff, and I want to focus on IOST. It's one of those that has been climbing a good bit. In fact, here's Go, and I'm happy to see it moving in the right direction now. Here we are, IOST. So if you look at its lifetime real quick, always like to start with that analysis. First of all, it had a ridiculously high initial launch. This was just at the end of December, so just before January 1st, 2018. So it's had about a year and 4 months or so on Binance. So if we come to our week-long look, you can see that this let's see. I didn't tell you to do that. Okay. So if we look at this huge recent spike over since past 2 weeks, I would say. There were signs of it back here, but it's on a steady rise. And pretty much everything, this is going to be a history of Bitcoin and altcoins in general, just to look at things as they pertain to the Bitcoin Cash hard fork. So you can see right here, it was staying in near 200 in value. Dropped all the way down to 110 as a result of that horrible hard fork. And then recently, just in the middle of February, it started coming up above the 200s. And recently, there's been a lot of spikes like this going on. So there was some curiosity whether it was just the help in the low volume spillover into the alts and things getting pumped, whether it was just that. But it seemed to extend beyond that period of time over here. And so it decided to do some deeper investigation, and it appeared that there's been some just general, real, actual reasons for its activity going up, including some $200 million funding rounds for stuff they've got going on. So decided to put it to the top of the list, and really like to cover more coins. I think that there are some really interesting projects out there, and not a whole lot of focus on a lot of them. Steam obviously is going to come back around. I've already covered it some. But IOST mainnet election has begun. Use your tokens to vote for partner nodes and earn rewards. Voting guide here, election voting portal here, and all of these different things. In fact, I'm going to pull it up over here where I can't see it. Okay, so I'll copy this. We're going to go into a near window. And once we get there, hey, it looks like I'm looking at the thing that I'm looking at, the thing with the thing that I'm looking at. Okay, so you can see this pulls up the IOST website, and all these other links are here for you to be able to learn from. And I've got a quote from their site there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll fill in some more information later, but I just didn't want it to run much longer for you to wait to learn more about this stuff. So unleashing the power of blockchain. Here's what IOST is about. Ultra-fast decentralized blockchain network based on the next generation consensus algorithm proof of believability. POB. It's almost like peanut butter. Led by a team of proven founders and backed by world-class investors. Our mission is to be the underlying architecture for online services that meets the security and scalability needs of a decentralized economy. Big words, words that are not unique to them. We've seen a lot of this. Pardon me, I seem to only sneeze when I report. Haven't had a sneeze all day. Scalable, efficient, and secure. Make sure that we're still audio. Yes, we are audio. And full screen browser. Yes. Our powerful consensus algorithm, POB, enables next-gen transaction speeds while ensuring the ease of use and security required for mainstream adoption. Proof of believability. Consensus algorithm enables an ultra-fast network while ensuring decentralization of nodes where hundreds, if not thousands, participate in block production and transaction validation each day. A faster grade Byzantine fault tolerance mechanism, microstate blocks. This is going to be more technical than what everybody will be interested in. But everything is in the links, so you can go and check these out at any point in time. Decentralized and immutable. We are safeguarding the immutability and fungibility of the ledger while ensuring decentralized governance. IOST adheres to the quintessential egalitarian values of blockchain technology. We believe in the original intent of a censorship-resistant and trustless network that is open to all. We use blockchain technology to cut out middlemen and maximize network value for all parties. We are building a truth machine, preserving one universally accepted version of history. Transactions or ledger history cannot for any reason be reversed or modified, and fundamental network mechanisms ensure no capitulation towards centralized control. So they've been featured in all those different things. Here's their roadmap. This is kind of important to get a feel for whether they are seen as legit and stay on the track of being seen as legit. Q1, launch MVP, private testnet, implement and test POB, official launch of testnet. Q3, release, IOST smart contract framework and document drafts, deploy supporting modules. Release of public testnet, release public testnet external security audit, release of IOST network client and wallet, official launch of mainnet, integrated production. This is Q1 of 2019, which is where we are now. So they're going to be launching DApps or DApps and commercial applications, launching IOST mainnet with native sidechain support. So sidechaining, my understanding is the main thing with sidechaining is dealing with transactional speed and volume. Though there are over 50 blockchain professionals, IOST's team hails from Harvard, Princeton, Brown, Berkeley, Cornell, Tsinghua University, Uber, and a long list of other things. National Olympiad. Partners. Join. So recent history, they unveil their secret weapon, Oasis. The best technology is invisible. Will help everybody access DApps with zero technical barriers. Wow, that's a big claim. IOST return on investment now live, or let's see what that is. Pardon your own interruption. IOST X, Binance Charity, blockchain, a force for good. So that's kind of cool. So anyway, check out their website. There's the developers portal, etc., etc., etc. Kind of cool stuff. So on to the next part of things. Found this on Blockchain Reporter. Again, thank you for those who provided the information for us. All the links are in there on the streaming video, and then will be in the archive. Altcoin news. IOST Foundation launches token buyback program. IOST says it's channeling the excess profits generated from business-to-business project collaborations into its token buyback initiative. The team firmly believe that the token buyback program will further solidify the trust between it and its entire community, including investors. The IOST project is fast gaining traction in the DLT space, and the team says it has linked several partnership deals to be announced. The IOST Foundation creators the ultra-high transaction per second distributed ledger technology platform for building highly scalable and secure secure decentralized applications, has announced the commencement of a token buyback program aimed at strengthening the confidence of its community and investors, according to a Medium blog post on April 2nd. IOST buyback program now live, rewarding loyalty. And, the bottom line of this, you can go and read this as well, but bottom line of it is that this is all about securing those who back the program. The longer that you stay with something, once you stake, there's more value to it. According to the team, the project has launched 10D apps, onboarded over 100,000 new accounts, recorded more than 20 million on-chain transactions. Wow, impressive. And altcoin news, IOST Foundation unveils its IUSD stablecoin. I thought that this was interesting and probably has a lot to do with the natural motion of this spike that is continuing. So I think that is definitely interesting. We have kind of a reverse of what we see with Bitcoin happening right now. It's amazing how many coins, you should do this just for your own entertainment purposes. Load up Bitcoin and zoom as far out as you can at the 1 minute candle on Binance, and then zoom out on the 1 hour on something that is or is not tracking with it. And you'll find that very interesting, because right now this is where it's sitting just in the current state of things, but all of that is happening very high up in the 370s when it is very long struggled to get beyond the 200s. Go, 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 go. Und there we go. So this takes us through the 4th into the 5th, and we are now just barely starting the 6th. So IOST joins the stablecoin race with IUSD. At a time when stablecoins are fast gaining traction in the crypto space, with traditional financial institutions already catching the stablecoin fever, one of the fastest growing distributed ledger technology has launched the IUSD. Reportedly developed by Rate3, one of the numerous node partners, while IOSD team plans to add support for Tether. Shortly, IOSD has made it clear that IUSD will enable holders to access liquidity on the supported USDC, TUSD, and other ERC20 stablecoins. So that's a lateral move from basically $1 to $1 to $1 to $1. And the fact that you can go seamlessly from IOST to IUSD is a benefit, because then you could trade that out for any other one if you have a loyalty or a connection to your other funds. So since the launch of the IOST Olympus in February, the IOST team has been working round the clock to make the network the best among equals, and it seems that hard work has started to yield positive results. I would agree. It's weird that I had just kind of a feeling about them when they were not nearly this much in the spotlight, and I was really just basing that on volume and value. And several different times I've spent way longer waiting for positions to clear in IOST than I would normally would, just because I felt like it was a good balance for trading. But now even more so, it's something to keep an eye on. So just a warning for those who trade based on good or bad news that's out there in a coin. There's a very, very, very unusual disconnect in the altcoin and Bitcoin community, that the logical is not always the thing that happens. Usually, first initial good news is a reason that things shill and spike. People put good news out there for the sake of having an opportunity to speculate on something. And that doesn't mean that it's not true news, true good news. But that it is something that initially things will spike when there's something genuinely going on, if that is the case. But don't make the assumption that just because that happens, that that's the way it's going to go. And I'm going to give you an example right here with Engine, which was really big in the news a couple of weeks back. And we covered a segment on them as well. And they're doing well in the 3000s, but I mean, they're not just continuing to the moon just because they continue to have good information and good things going on. They made it all the way up to 6,300, okay? And now they're at half of that. So they went from, 1,000 to 6,000 to 3,000. Well, 3,000 is still great, but if you were still chasing it up in the fives, you're going to be stuck there for a little bit. Now, that doesn't mean that every time that something good happens with Engine, we might not, get another spike. We might get one. But just as a general rule, when you hear good news and you see that that does confirm the reason that something is going up, or at least backs up the validity or there being a good reason for it to continue climbing, please just remember this. There's this weird counterintuitive, counter-logical thing that does happen with these coin projects where they get a really good initial boost, but then reality sets in and they fall flat pretty quickly. So really the biggest thing is, where was it before people were talking? And the answer is 3,000 is much better than 1,000, right? So the real gap that I would look here is in the 2,500 to 3,500 range. and wait it out, see where it falls in a week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. If it gets another spike, then you can see this upward trajectory that could potentially happen. This could be boom, boom, boom. This could be the next boom, 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 and continue upwards. But there's also a chance that it mellows out and averages around 3,000. There's a chance that it comes down here. What we don't want to see happen is that it goes all the way back down to the 8 and 900s where it started, right? So similarly, not an extremely different thing that we see happening with IOST. Now, if they know how to gain traction and keep putting good stuff out there, and all the their speed and mainnet and the good things that they have going, the potential for stablecoin stuff, if all those things hold true, past a week, 2 weeks, a month, then we might see that this is just the start of a ridiculous Bitcoin Cash hard fork that really, could have ruined the entire industry forever. Those greedy people. Wow, did I say that out loud? Yep, I sure did. I'm not saying that they couldn't become a good project. I'm not going to be as dismissive as a lot of people are, but there are a lot of people that are having trouble taking the entire industry seriously because of the silliness of ABC and SV. And I don't think that either of them should be let off the hook for the things that have gone on. So you can see that this is a very powerful up from where it was, 200 to 300, 230s to 350s. That's profound. But it has been higher in the past. And if it's gaining momentum and gaining traction, there is a chance that it could double. But that does not mean that I think that that's a sure thing. I mean, look at the huge instant difference in the volume that we have here. Okay, so just keep things in mind, and we'll watch and see what happens there. So that's the way it looks on the marketplace. I would, keep an eye on its volume. If you see things like 2,300 trickle down to 1,000 very quickly over a day, then you know that there's a good chance that this is going to slow down. Just like, watching, does it fall below the 320 range? How much does it fall? We hope that it can find a new higher average than it was in the 200s and keep moving upwards and forwards. And that's kind of the idea with all these different coins that are spiking a little bit. If when they settle down and they settle in and they start finding a new average, my hope is that all of those new averages are slightly higher than they were before. The main thing, it almost seems to have a purpose behind it, which is to recapture where it was before Bitcoin's hard fork, Bitcoin Cash's hard fork, was so detrimental to the industry. So, and there's the crosshairs right there. Boom. Every single coin, including Bitcoin, has that dip, except Bitcoin has not recovered nearly as quickly. And we're starting to see signs of that now. So the thing is that they're not natural signs. In fact, it could be coming, most likely is coming from the very camps that have caused the problem to begin with. So, global economics, why won't you find the brains of these people? It will. It can. It does. So IOST, cryptocurrency coin spotlight, instant insights. I hope that you find this interesting. I hope you have found this interesting. And I'm going to just take one last look. Okay, I don't think that we're missing anything. So thank you guys. And for now, Archangel Alts out.